Well, welcome to another episode of O Faces. We are your hosts, Mr.
and Mrs. Mocha.
Feel like it's been forever.
I feel a little scratchy. Not like my body scratchy.
What, the microphone?
The microphone's a little scratchy.
Yeah, hey, get that off your leg. That's why.
Okay. Oh, yeah, maybe.
Yes, you're touching the cord. So
You're going to kill my drink here.
Don't kill your drink, baby. Don't kill your drink. All right. Like we said, welcome back to O Faces. Mrs. Mocha is actually here with me today, even though she's been trying to avoid me lately.
How have I been avoiding you?
Well, you made me go to Splash by myself. I had to do 2 podcasts alone.
Wah.
Thank God we had somebody step up and...
Say my name twice?
Yeah, but that's okay. You know, everybody told me in Splash that they didn't need you there anyways.
The text messages I received were a different answer.
Really?
That's fine. If that makes you feel better, Mr. Mocha.
It makes me feel better about myself.
Listen, I have to say that I'm very proud of the way you handled yourself.
You guys hear that vodka in the cup?
I feel like like the microphones are like extra sensitive today. Like I can hear your pants scratching.
Yeah, me too. Because the mic cord's touching my leg. Sorry about the noise, guys. It's Mrs. Mocha's fault. She set everything up today, and she set it up real sloppy. Like,
first of all, you didn't tell me what to do with the cords. This is not my job. Just like you tell me shit is not your job. This is not my job.
I never say that.
You say that quite frequently.
That is true. I do.
Karina is on, and she can attest to how often you tell me what to do.
Oh, yeah.
Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about, Karina.
Don't be trying to make me look bad in public. So, look, we got Blushing Vixen on. Always nice to see her. I got to meet her in person, baby.
We met her in person a few mochas ago, but
I got to hug her and squeeze her amazing.
Did you touch her butt?
Oh, yeah.
That's really kind of makes me a little jelly.
You should be jealous.
Not even close.
And I got to make out with her a little bit.
She's one of the slut sisters. She's got rights.
I'm glad she has rights. I'm planning on taking full advantage of my rights next time I see her.
Well, I mean, maybe I should ask her. Like,
she's already said I can have some.
Oh, well, that was nice.
So, what's the topic today, baby?
What did we say? Oh, the importance of staying connected while in the lifestyle.
You forgot what it is. That is not connection.
Well, we can't. It was last minute.
So it's that's your device vibrating. I put mine on silent.
It's
because you verbally abuse me every time I don't put mine on silent. So.
All right. Well, you can't always get on to me about things.
I got to get in where I can. So the importance of staying connected. That's going to make noise. The importance of staying connected. That's something that I told you is going to make noise. You just don't trust me. If you hear some feedback, it's because Mrs. Mocha is playing with buttons over here.
I'm trying to do something. Give me like 2 seconds. Just talk for a second.
All right. So this is probably one of the, when it comes to, making a decision to be in a lifestyle, being connected is the most important thing. Some people decide to get into the lifestyle because they think it's going to be a fix. It is not going to be a fix. I think for us, in my opinion, you shouldn't get into the lifestyle if you don't already have a connection. And
I'm sorry, we're so distracted today.
The dog came down. He's eyeballing us and sneezing because his usual spot is covered by a bunch of my equipment. So he's offended right now.
Poor new pup.
He wants us to move stuff out of his way.
Come on, you can come over here.
But we digress. Lifestyle and connection. When we speak to couples, that's always probably one of the biggest things, and the connection has to be strong, because when you're trying to, make a decision to allow other people into your relationship, and it doesn't matter what area of the lifestyle ecosystem you reside in, if you have a partner, being connected to that person is a big deal. One of the conversations that myself and I think a couple of bulls had, one of the guys was saying, oh, it's the guy, the bull's responsibility to make sure that, he doesn't make someone's wife fall in love with him. And it's like, listen, if my wife can fall in love with another dude, then, he put the work in and he earned it.
But I think we've actually probably talked about this before, but there were a few times where Mr. Mocha and I were at a disconnect, only because of like life, and not because we were having issues, because of just like we had kid stuff and we had vanilla life stuff, and we just weren't like doing enough together that we would get at a disconnect, and I would have to there were a few times I just didn't play with other males because I was almost afraid that I would look for the attention he wasn't giving me from someone else. I knew I wasn't going to like leave him, but doesn't mean that that wasn't a thought in my mind. And that's just being completely like 100% honest. Are you mad now, bro?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I still, no matter what, I feel like if another person, another man or another woman could come in and take my place, or if another woman could step in and take her place, then I don't think that, it was really meant to be, because I think that that's how strong our connection. And I've told my wife that many a times, I don't believe there is a person that can make me not want to be with my wife, so, and I think that has to do with our connection.
And there's no one that can make me want, what I was trying to say, there's no one that can make me want to leave you, but I also don't, the things that I expect or want from you, I don't want to seek from someone else, because I think there are quite a few couples that actually, that's where they what's the best way to say it? That's where they get disconnected, is because they search for that in another area. But there are some things in lifestyle that you can say for your spouse and not even being an asshole. Just, like Mr. Mocha and I, it's not really a rule, but I'm not really fond of him like cuddling up with somebody, because I feel like there's not a lot that we save for each other. So I kind of like that we have that for each other. Like our connect isn't necessarily sex. It is, but it's not. Like we like having sex with each other, obviously, but
yeah.
But that's not our intimacy. Is that the best way to put it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I definitely don't think that sex equals intimacy, because, I mean, we've had sex with lots of people, and I haven't been intimate with lots of people.
No.
So, no, I definitely agree with that part. And I do understand what you say when it's like, okay, if we're not connecting, I don't want to, you don't necessarily want to deal with someone else that's going to make you feel the way that I'm supposed to make you feel. I mean, I guess I can understand that.
Yeah.
But I think that's where that connection comes in. And, in the lifestyle, once you've been in it for so long, in any relationship, whether it's a husband and wife, friends,
just partners,
parents, anyone, there's always going to be a time when there's a disconnection, especially, for us, we operate in the real world together. We have life things that we do. We got kids, we've got bills, we have a lot of stuff. And oftentimes, we're not the really argue and fight type of couple. But, when we had a house full of children, I mean, we were always doing something with the kids, taking the kids to jiu-jitsu, taking the kids here, doing this, doing that. And by the time the day was over, we had very little time. And then, that, one time a month that we could do something lifestyle, that's when things were kind of.
That's when I would get insecure.
Yeah. That's because we didn't, during our day to day, we went 4 weeks of not intentionally disconnecting, but, you you wind up spending just, a couple hours together, during the day. And so when we spend those couple of hours together, half the time just talking about the children, talking about the bills, talking about the dog. Mm-hmm. We get into bed, we have good sex, but, when we had the kids in the house, we had to fuck like ninjas,
But, I heard from a good marriage counselor at one point in time that you should always date each other.
Mm-hmm.
And if you stop dating each other, then that can be a disconnect. I mean, and I don't think that we weren't dating each other, but I think people get comfortable and they stop getting to know each other. Because as you grow, as a couple, you can grow apart or grow together.
And you definitely evolve. You change. Mm-hmm. Who you are, who we were when we first met each other, as opposed to who we were when we moved in together, and then who we were, once we merged the families, and who we were as we, everything grew, whether it be our finances, all of those things, they change who you are. Mm-hmm. Somebody told me once that you are a sum total of every person and every experience that you have. So, you're constantly, every day it's kind of like, the body sheds dead skin cells and renews them. Every time you interact with new people, every time you share new experiences, you're really, building upon the person that you are. And the most important thing in the lifestyle is to make sure that you're building upon who you are as a team. And it's very, very easy to wind up, kind of building in opposite directions. Mm-hmm. So that's where I mean, even down to just like, I guess the connect for me at one point in time was like, shit, can you just sit down with me? Because Mr. Mocha will fixate on shit. And it's not an intentional, like he doesn't intentionally ignore me, but he'll fixate on stuff. And I have to say like, Daddy, like, fuck, just come sit down, please. Like, and he'll realize like, that's just, I don't feel like I require a lot. Yeah, I just want you to sit next to me. Like last night when you got home. Like you just, sometimes we both don't even know that that's what we need. And then we're both frustrated with each other and don't know why we're frustrated with each other. But then we freaking Netflix and not even chill. And we feel better because we watched, 8 hours of The Sandman. Yeah. I mean, sat still, then doing that. And that for me, I know, I've always been like that since she's known me. I start working and I just get lost in whatever I'm doing. And so it's easy to create that disconnect. So now how does that spill over into the lifestyle? I think that when couples become disconnected, lifestyle couples become disconnected, that's when you run into those insecurities. That's when, you find that you're not on the same page, even when you're out doing things. When we're connected and we're firing on the same cylinders, we can almost communicate without words because we've been talking and we've been, fantasizing together. We've been dating each other. We've been, our sexual desires and everything are really interwoven. But then in those times in our relationships where we were just busy and, we were coming together to have sex, but, the fun stuff where we're talking about. It was
like sex without chemistry almost. I can't say that it was, it didn't mean it was like bad sex. Like we would still have sex, but it was an act. It wasn't.
I wouldn't say without chemistry. I guess you can say that. For me, it wasn't sex without chemistry. It was just, we were fulfilling that sexual need that we have, as opposed to, when we were in the times when we're really communicating well, we're talking about sexual fantasies during sex. She's sending me porns during the day. She's sending me news during the day. She walks out of the bathroom and I'm helicoptering my dick when she comes out, making her laugh. There was a time in our relationship where, I was going so much. I remember there was like a week that I might have been home about 2 hours for the whole week. And she breaks down crying. She's like, "You don't grab my ass anymore." Because I grab my wife. I fondle my wife all day. I fondle her so much that I don't even notice when I'm doing it. In the grocery store, I don't notice. I just grab something until she slaps my hand and says we're in public. So for her, when I didn't do that, it was like, "You don't love me anymore. You don't like my ass."
Because I was used to the physical attention outside of sex. So whenever you stopped doing it, I'm all in my head like, I'm fat. He's not attracted to me anymore. He's cheating on me. Something fucking crazy.
Yeah, it was definitely something crazy.
I'm a little bit of an overthinker.
I was like, I've literally spent 2 hours at the house in the last, I don't know how long. It's not that I don't want to do it. It's just that we haven't been in proximity.
What is it you say all the time? I don't give a fuck.
So I think that, the next thing is, how do you stay connected? I know how we stay connected. One of the ways we stay connected is with our honesty. We decided years ago to be very honest about our fantasies, very honest about when we have that disconnect. Like I had to tell my wife, because I fixate. I'll start doing something and my attention is, I don't care if I'm playing with a speaker, if I'm trying to learn a new piece of equipment, I will sit down for 15 hours. And to me, I've only been here for 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. And then she'll come and say, hey, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. Are you coming to bed? It's like, oh shit, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I didn't know that. And so she had to learn that.
I just have to say something.
You just have to say something because I won't notice. My friends get mad at me all the time because like, dude, you haven't called me in like 3 days. I'm like, shit, I just talked to you earlier. Oh shit, that was 3 days. Because once I get my mind on something, I'm gone. So it took her a long time to learn that, okay, I'm not ignoring you. Mm-hmm. I'm just in my own world. So sometimes you got to come and knock on my door, tap on my back and say, hey, I need some time. And then I'll give it to you. It's not that I don't want to. It's just, oh, I need you to pull me out of it. So that in the beginning.
Like simple stuff. Again, just like last night, Mr. Mocha went and did something perverted.
Yeah.
And when he came home, there's never a time that I'm mad at him or upset. When he came home, I knew he had had a good time, and I was like happy that he had a good time. And I said, come lay down to me. I totally knew what was going to happen because I knew that he was tired. And he laid on my arm and he fell asleep. And that like made me feel good. Yeah. And then he told me how much he loved me in his drunken stupor.
I can't get drunk around her. I get too soft. But this is what happens when we're connected. When we are firing on all cylinders and we're connected and we're working together. I can go out and play, or she can go out and play, and then when we get back, it's exciting. It's gonna either be she goes out and plays, or somebody comes over and fucks her, and then I savage her vagina afterwards, and then she lay there and she smile. Or, I go out and, I play and I come home and, she rides my dick like she's a maniac and just tells me that this is her dick. And then we lay there and we laugh about it and we joke about it. Anyone who knows my wife knows she's super fucking sarcastic. She's got a joke for everything at the most inappropriate times. I think we've laughed during sex more than, we know when we're connected and when we're not laughing all day, or if, we're not silly because we're just silly all day long. So we know when we begin to have a disconnect.
And I've even had like a meltdown about him not being silly because oh my God.
Keep going.
I've even had like a meltdown about us not being silly because, again, that's a connect for us. So anything that you can think of that you would naturally connect with your spouse, like however you connected even in the beginning of like your dating, like when you were dating, what did you do that was fun? That didn't even that doesn't cost anything. It's more of a, what do you do without the cost? What do you do at home? Did you make a pallet in your basement with you and all of your kids and you cuddle and you all, like that was for us too. That was like a thing. Like yes, we want our time, but I also I didn't want the family to be affected. Yeah.
Keep in mind, I know a lot of this stuff seems like it's not lifestyle, but the fact of the matter is when you introduce, an alternative sexual lifestyle into your relationship, you're adding to what you have existing. Mm-hmm. It's not you're not rebuilding something. You're not patching something. You are, you're putting an addition onto the house.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't add an addition to a house that's falling to pieces.
Mm-hmm.
So all the things that you did before that kept you connected, and because you're in a relationship, your connection it can't be just physical. Now, all of those things that you do outside of the lifestyle, keeping those connections, it keeps you focused on everything that you have in your life, and it makes the lifestyle a real enhancement. And the problem is, the same thing that can make your life an enhancement, can make it hell. It's kind of like, you can take an energy drink, to give you some energy and make yourself feel a little more awake and feel a little more alive. Or you can take an energy drink right when you're about to have a heart attack, and it can kill you. That to me, what the lifestyle is, it's going to be.
It just can't be used as a Band-Aid.
Yeah, it can't be used as a Band-Aid. Mm-hmm. And as soon as you start feeling a disconnect, because that's the question that people's always asked us, and I think because we've never had a disconnect because of an outside source. We've never had a disconnect because of cheating or because of lying. Mm-hmm. We've never had a disconnect because of something someone did in a lifestyle.
It's usually stemmed from something that started at home.
Yeah.
Like, I say this because it probably needs to be said, but don't always be quick to judge that one couple that has a fight one time. Not necessarily a fight, but you can see the tension between them.
Yeah.
They could just be at a disconnect. It may be insecurities, they may be new, whatever, but they could just be at a disconnect. And yeah. You can't determine what people go through at home.
And don't get me wrong,
Yeah, I know
I'm not going to judge them, but I'm going to avoid them until they get their shit together.
Yes, exactly. And we've talked to lots of couples where we've told them that they need to get their shit together.
Yeah, we've had couples have breakdowns in our house, at which point I said, no offense, but you got to get out of here with that. You need to go home and work through some shit.
Yeah, and then we'll see you a year from now.
Yeah, we'll see you later on once you figured it out.
Because sometimes, there's been a few times we've taken breaks from the lifestyle, but
our breaks have never been because we said we're taking a break.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't even know it was a break. It just ended up being that was just what happened. But we ended up figuring out like, dang, that's kind of what we needed. We needed a little break.
And I think that's another thing, like the way we've taken breaks in the past in the lifestyle, like we said, it wasn't because we decided to. It's just that we started feeling that disconnect between us. And as soon as we identify that we're having a disconnect, it makes us both kind of pour more into our regular stuff. And it's kind of like, oh, well, I'm having, you want to go to the club tonight? How about we just stay here and eat some shitty food and, fuck. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's do it. So for us, we've always kind of, once we identify it, it's always been a mutual thing because I can't enjoy myself if my wife is upset. She's never said, oh, I don't want you to go on a date or something like that, or I don't want you to play, and vice versa. But even when, for us, the only thing we've ever really argued over was the kids and the dog, and when we are having those moments, I can't enjoy myself. And, she's kind of been the same way. Oh, I can't have fun if we're, so we always like to make sure we reconnect. Yeah, because
there's been a few times that we've actually had like a little argument about something like right before a play date. And it definitely turned... It wasn't a bad play date, but it wasn't as fun. It wasn't as fun because we're beefing. So in what world is that going to be fun if you're beefing with your spouse when you want your spouse to be like excited that you're doing something? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't get a hard dick when I know I'm gonna go home to some problems. So it's like I can't really focus on somebody else when I know my wife is pissed. So it's like, yeah, okay, well. Can we reschedule this thing? I would rather reschedule personally.
But there were a few times that it was too late to reschedule because it was like 15 minutes before the person's about to show up. and it's just too late to reschedule, and it definitely was not good.
It wasn't
it wasn't bad. It just wasn't like super fun either. Let me see this because someone commented.
And, you know, for me, it's like one of my biggest turn-ons in the lifestyle is to do stuff. And
pause. Somebody said, pretty sure I needed this convo a lot more than my wife and understanding things. Like, I'm okay with everything that we will end up doing and want to do. It was more for me how to separate work for money, what we want, and our connection. That's a good way to put it.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you what you need. You need a lifestyle male friend, because I'm gonna tell you something. Part of who we are, if you are like me and like some of my friends, my main focus is always on making sure that the person I love and my kids are okay. So a lot of times, you know, we, especially early on, her and I would get into conflict because I'd work 12 hours a day, then come home and work another 6 or 7. Mm-hmm. And it was difficult for me at one time to understand, like, how are you upset when I'm trying to provide for you? But then...
And I would have to tell him, because just a little more detail this is where we started setting boundaries, is he would come home from work and then get on the phone with work for like 2 or 3 hours. And finally one day I said to him, because at the time I was staying home and I was homeschooling the kids, and I had to tell him, when you get home, you have 25 minutes. It wasn't like a shitty way. I just said, you have 25.
Oh, it was a shitty way. There were tears.
See,
tears are a weapon. Like, there's tears is, okay, the kids are driving me crazy. I deal with them all day long. You come home, you walk in, you pet the dogs, you kiss the kids, you peck me on the forehead, and then you disappear for another 2 hours. And I'm like, whoa.
But it was because at the time his boss was very demanding, which I was trying to be understanding about. And I was for like the first 6 months. But you've been gone since 5 o'clock in the morning. You come home and then you're back on the phone until 1 a.m. Like, that doesn't work.
This was true.
So I had to tell him, like, you need to tell your boss that when you get home, you have 30 minutes to talk, and that's it. Like, I can't do this anymore. I just need a little bit of your attention. And
you know something, to be honest with you, after more than a decade of being together, she still has to remind me, because when I start working, I've always lost myself in work. And just to be completely honest, she's the first woman I've ever been with that I want to stop working for. You know, I've always prioritized working over everyone. Mm-hmm. You know, so it changed things for me when she was like, okay, you know, I need time. And then going back to my thought process of, okay, I'm trying to be a good provider. You know, a wise man told me, you're trying to be a good provider, and you may give her a mansion and then wind up being in that bitch by yourself. Mm-hmm. You know,
it has to be a balance of, yes, we all need money to live, but we don't, if we don't stop for a little bit and pay attention to each other, why are we with each other?
And then it also came
We're
down to...
with each other because of a paycheck? No.
Yeah. And just, you know, we've had this conversation before. We all give love in a certain way. Mm-hmm. So for some of us, providing is a way of showing that I love you. Mm-hmm. And see, the problem is, I'll use example. If my favorite dessert in the world is a peanut butter sundae, and because I love it and I love you, I want you to share in this peanut butter sundae, and I keep trying to give it to you, but you're deathly fucking allergic to peanuts, then I'm trying to force you to enjoy what I enjoy. And oftentimes we try to force love on people the way we want to receive it. And so there were a lot of times early in our relationship where both of us had that issue where her love language, she would try to force on me. Mm-hmm. My love language, I would try to force on her. So we started coming to a happy median. I know that my wife needs to be touched. It's how it is. I am a furnace. When I lay in the bed, anything that touches me, I'm going to sweat on that spot. So when we first got together and I wouldn't cuddle up to her and sleep, you know, she thought it's like, oh, why don't you want to cuddle me? Well, I can cuddle you and then we can both wake up in a puddle. So I found a happy median. I stretched my leg over her. I put my leg on her body, which keeps her warm, and it keeps me from turning into, you know, an inferno.
A heater at night, yeah.
And that is small things, but that's a big thing, because to me it was a small thing. Okay, I'm asleep. I don't want to fucking touch you. And for her, it's like, okay, you don't love me because you're not touching me in your sleep. It was a small thing to me, but a big thing to her.
You do that. If
well, I mean,
don't
after
touch you,
listen, after after 13 years, now yes, it's something that it's a habit. You know.
What was your response about the porno pup the other night? The motherfucking dog is in the goddamn way.
Yeah,
I can't get my fucking foot on your leg.
I can't. She makes me learn to sleep with my leg on her, and then she gets this dog that wedges his body in between us somehow.
Trying to stay warm too. He said, same guy, Joe. I hope it's okay we say your name. You're on here. I'll get in deep with work and want to do my absolute best. I've done that a lot, and that's what scares me about going back to work. Just, I would say from a woman's perspective, maybe just ask her what small things you can do to reconnect. Hey, if I take this much time out of, it doesn't even have to be a day. It can be sporadic, because we've tried to do like a scheduled thing and that did not work. I just say, hey, I need this. And he says, okay, well, tonight I'm going to work until this time and I'll get off. Now, sometimes it's kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
But for the most part, he's really good about it if I say that I need it. But just make time for her. Ask her what she wants, or what would, or just surprise her one day. Hey, try to figure out what she likes. One day make her dang dinner or order dinner, DoorDash something, and just say, hey, I would think that you've been with her long enough to know that what type of movie she would want, or if it's a funny movie, or we usually watch really stupid comedy movies together and laugh. Or like I said, just lay in bed, whatever you.
Well, the thing that she likes,
right?
So whatever the thing is that she likes, and I start with number one. If we know our spouse good enough to kind of be able to guess somewhere in the direction of what they're going to want. Mm-hmm. All right. Don't get her some shit that you want. I'm not going to, tell my wife, hey, I want to spend time with you, so let's go to the range. That's not going to work out. All right. And I know that for her, since she likes that physical contact, she likes for me to ignore the world for her for a small period of time.
Yep.
So if I do that, I know I get a lot of brownie points. I also know that sometimes, I can just ask, because she wants me to pretend like I give a shit. Mm. So, she's told me before, hey, just because something's not important to you doesn't mean it's not important to me. Because let's be honest, that's the damn truth. We all have things that our spouses want that we think is fucking dumb.
Yeah.
But now I can tell you from personal experience, whatever thing she likes, even if you think it's fucking dumb, don't tell her. Because the sweetest, calmest woman in the world will flay you alive for that. And I've learned that the hard way. And then, it comes down to it's just really strategy. You try one thing, it don't work. She's going to appreciate you trying. Like Lupe and Misha, she said, hey, I get a date night. Mm-hmm. And I don't care what you do the other 6 days, but I get my date night. And
he did really good.
She
put her foot down pretty hard, which was funny, but that's how they do. But we can't say she demanded. She told him what she wanted, and he did it.
He agreed to it, and when he started getting distracted, she was like, "Hey,
I will fuck you up. Where's my date night?" And the thing is whether or not he wants to realize it, he wants to admit it or not, but he would actually have a good time too.
Oh yeah, because, he was very honest. He enjoyed it, and it's that. To me, as a man, there's no better feeling no matter what I do, no matter how successful I am at a job, no matter how well I do, and this only counts for people who like their wives, okay? If you don't like your fucking wife or your husband, it doesn't count because you don't give a shit. Mm-hmm. But the best feeling to me is when I do something and she's happy. Mm-hmm. Like when she's happy about something I did, I feel good. So, that's the thing for both of us. For me, I'm fortunate, and I'll say this very honestly. I'm fortunate that I've always been with my wife, and my wife pays very, very close attention to my needs, my wants, and my desires. Like she's very, very, very good at that. She's
even
better than
down
that.
To making your tea.
Exactly.
Every day.
Yep. When I want some tea, like I think of tea, and then all of a sudden she's like, "Daddy, would you like some tea?" And I'm like, "Absolutely." And she knows when I want coffee over tea, and I don't know how she knows.
I can read your mind.
See, there you go.
That's why I be watching scary shows.
Oh my God.
I'm just kidding, honey. But as far as Joe goes, just do your best. That's it. Doesn't have to be anything crazy. Yes, Mr. Mocha works. I understand he has to work. He understands I have to work, and that is okay. That working is fine. You got to do what you got to do, and you can be good at what you do. But you can also, you can't tell me that you work 24/7. If you are, that's fine. But you can find 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, whatever. Find it.
And it's, it's one of those things where nothing that's worth having is easy. Especially like Joe, I feel you because that's how I operate. So I respect that. Me and one of my boys were having that same conversation earlier today, where we both made it very clear to one another that that's where we fuck up at. Literally, when I'm still up at 1 o'clock in the morning working on something, and I know in the back of my mind that my wife is laying in bed trying to stay awake for me to come in there, and I'm like, man, I just need 5 more minutes to finish this. 5 more minutes to me always turns to about 2 more hours. That's just how I operate. So there's times when I have to force myself to pull myself away, and I have to force myself to, there's days I have to play catch up. There's days where I'll get up and I will just blow a whole day hanging out with her. And in the back of my mind, I'm going, oh, fuck, this is going to suck tomorrow. But, she's happy as hell. And now the next day when I'm playing catch up and she knows to leave me alone, it was worth it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's just balance. And it can't be like there's no one and no relationship that has perfect balance or perfect. We're never going to have a movie marriage where we go on dates all the time and everything's going to be so romantic.
We don't have a movie marriage. I thought this was the best shit you've ever had.
It is.
I'm out of here.
Okay. Well, I'm keeping the dog. Anyways, yeah, but I mean, I guess there is some possibility of a movie marriage, but don't. I wouldn't put yourself up to that standard because people that live regular lives, that's not as realistic. You can do some of that stuff, but what people don't take into account is that you have kids, you have life, you have regular bills. You have to talk about that stuff too. So if you do take an hour to do whatever the fuck you do, don't talk about that stuff.
And it's hard. Yeah,
don't talk about it. Try not to talk. Try when you get home, say, okay, we had a rule. You got 30 minutes to talk about work. Because otherwise we would have both talked about it forever and there was no calm down time.
Yeah.
Because that was when we were both working outside of our house.
Yeah.
So I came home and I would tell him all my bullshit. He would tell me his bullshit. And then we'd give each other opinions and then we wouldn't talk about it anymore. And he was really good about going down and sitting and watching TV with the kids and then putting some time to me and then going back to work. Even if he was up till 2 or 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I think he's a vampire secretly because he never sleeps.
Sleep when I'm rich or when I'm dead.
Okay. I mean, you've always slept like that, so.
Because I haven't got rich or dead yet. That's why.
Oh, God.
So, I mean, that all of this, you know, everything, you know, we talk about this. I think one of the funny things is it's so often that, you know, people who we know, people who we hang out with, you know, they always assume, man, you guys are always connected. Psst, we're human. I get on my wife's fucking nerves all the time. All right. You know, we're never, you know, like I said, we're not big into arguing and fighting because that's just not who we are. But everyone.
We bicker if we fight. Yeah. It's more of like a bicker.
Yeah. I mean, it's usually like 30 seconds worth of it. Like, we don't really.
In your mind.
At some point, my selective hearing kicks in and I only hear about 30 seconds worth of it.
No, you're usually really good about apologizing and before the story's done. So
yeah, if she's got a good point, then I'm gonna apologize. There's no reason, no need for me to argue when I'm wrong. It's like, okay, yes, all right, I broke it. All right, the kids are no longer in the house. I can't blame any of the kids for it. The dog couldn't reach it, so yes, I lied about the dog breaking your picture that you've had since you were 11. I'm sorry. You know, stuff like that. You
lie about stuff like that.
I blame shit on the dog all the time.
Nah.
So, we're going to let some people jump in. I see a Godfather Part 3. Okay, see, that's a whole lot there. I see you there. I'm going to approve you. Let you jump in if you want to ask a question or you have a comment. Everybody's listening. Welcome. Are you on?
Hey, what's going on, brother?
Oh, nothing much.
I came in on the conversation when y'all was talking about like having time for your significant other and stuff of that nature, and I was just a little puzzled because I wanted to ask you, like, how do you balance a situation like that? Definitely dealing with a woman that is like an executive and she's always on the computer, like just working, and traveling and flying everywhere. How do you balance that? Because it seems like dealing with I never dealt with an executive before, but dealing with that type of woman, it seems like they're always working so much. It's like, where's the time to actually bond with your mate? You know what I'm saying?
I got you on this one. I want to say that the best way for me to say it is that Mr. Mocha has likely been our executive most of our relationship. So he has worked like that and traveled like that, and I just have to pull his attention away. I just have to say, maybe, I don't know if that you can do that all, but I have to say, like, hey, the money's always good, and it's always good to have money, and I appreciate what you do, but I'm with you because I want you. So I need a little bit of you. I mean, maybe Mr. Mocha has a different opinion on that, but I'm only saying from the side that he traveled 6 days out of 7 at one point of our relationship. I mean, I was, like I said, I homeschooled our kids. I was the stay-at-home mom, but I also did all of our lifestyle stuff. I mean, he was gone a good amount of time, so I had to make him make time.
And I think, see, from my standpoint, to me, time is different. To me, I would rather have 30 minutes of quality time than 8 hours of bullshit time. And I can say this from personal experience. I've been in a relationship with a person who I spent time with all day long, and I couldn't fucking stand her, you know.
Wow.
And then being in a relationship that I'm in now, you know, there were literally times where we had 30 minutes, and I can feed off that 30 minutes. When I was traveling, I'd get on the plane and I'd be boarding the plane and have my headphones on, and she'd be saying the goofiest shit in my ear while I'm boarding the plane, and I'm cracking up and everybody's looking at me like I'm out of my mind. To me, it's the quality of the time that we spend. And being able to support her and what she's doing. And I think oftentimes in that supportiveness, when she knows that you support her, and I don't know what your situation is or, you know, how much time you ask for, you know,
but make it realistic. Yeah, make it start with realistic expectations, especially if you know what her job entails.
But as an executive, she controls that part of it.
More
so
or
that
less.
just means that
because it's like I can't put the pressure on her because I see results of what she's doing. So it will. I feel like it'll put me in a weird situation with her. Like, oh, but you know what I got going on. You know what I do. You know that I'm doing this. Why would you continue to bring that energy to me when you know that we cool like that and you know this is what I do?
But the question is, have you had the conversation at all?
Yeah, we did, but it hasn't. Oh my God, it's a little weird. Yeah, I did. We did have that conversation. Yes, we did.
You know, and to me, I think the question is, and you don't have to answer this part. Everything is based upon the response of the response and how the behavior is. You know, for me personally, even though I work like crazy, my wife is my personal drug. So I've never been in a situation personally in a relationship where I couldn't wait to get back home to her or I couldn't wait to talk to her. You know, I'm addicted to my wife. You know,
I'm texting.
All right. I'm sorry. My little brother called and he just called back to back. He must be having a baby right now. Check and see if she's going into labor there.
I did.
Oh no, man! I'm a little confused right now.
No, I'm sorry. I had to pause you there. I'm sorry. My little brother called me back to back, and he's getting ready to have a baby. So we're trying to see if he's calling to say that they're in labor or not. Sorry about that.
It's all right.
But listen, man. I mean, it's it's beautiful to have a guy get on and be honest. You know, to have that level of honesty and say that, because I think so many guys are so busy trying to be macho, have the, oh, I don't need you attitude, this, that, and the third. But, you jumped on and said something that's very valid.
Yeah. Thank you.
So get the quality.
Right. No matter how your quality is, because everybody's is not going to be the same. You just have to figure out what works for you and how it works for her.
I just try to keep it very subtle and neutral when I speak to her. And
Uh-oh.
I know you big, but
we lost you for a second. I'm sorry.
Because we don't really talk much, so just hit me up when you're free, and yeah. And it's true. When I do talk to her on FaceTime or I do speak to her, the phone is always ringing. What she's saying is true, so it kind of makes me feel guilty for even feeling away. See what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I don't want to upset her energy because she already forgave me the first time I questioned her about it and we had a clash. Then she forgave me, and then this will be like the second time. Nah, I can't do that.
I mean, now here's the thing. Now those strong words, bro. You can't say she forgave you for saying, "Hey, I care about you and I want time. I understand that you're busy, but I want time." There's no forgiveness necessary in that situation because you're being honest. Now, the dishonest thing to do would be if you did not give her the opportunity to understand that you were feeling some sort of way and you just up and walked away. Now, for me, that was always my worst quality in relationships. I would deal with somebody, I say something one time, and
he would just say, fuck it.
Yeah. And I was like the kind of I'm just not going to talk to you type situation. Mm-hmm. So for you're doing the right thing. So that doesn't require forgiveness. Now, if you hold it in till you get on the phone with her and be like, all right, you're getting on my goddamn nerves. I ain't seen you. That's different. But if you come at her and say, hey, listen, I just want to be honest with you and let you know how I'm feeling. Boom.
Yes. I agree.
So nah, this it's not a forgiveness thing in any way, shape, or form. I mean, you doing the right thing, and it's not a conversation that's supposed to die, because now, if you stop having that conversation, you're lying to her, you're lying to yourself, and you're self-sabotaging. Because we all need a reminder, because think about it like this. In our situation, in our relationship, we have had times where her income was higher than mine and vice versa. We've had times where my wife had, she was killing herself when I was cruise control and vice versa. So a day may come when the tables are turned.
Yes.
And when that day comes, you don't want her to stop telling you, and then she just say, fuck it, I'll go find somebody else, because that's where it always leads to when you stop communicating.
Yes.
And I like that a lot of the, I'm not surprised by it, and I don't want to say that I am, but I am, that we have a lot of male interaction. I like that, because there aren't a lot of men that will come on and say, hey, I need some help, or will somebody give me some advice on stuff. It's usually more the women trying to figure out the male. So I like respect that a lot, that there are guys that are recognizing, like, hey, you're right, this is what I do sometimes, or I want this to happen. I like that. I like that.
Thank you, I appreciate that. I heard y'all talking about it, and I just had to ask that question, because talking about quality time and making time, when he said, I love, I want to speak to my woman, I want to be around my woman or hear from her, I felt that. So I said, I gotta ask this question. I have to.
We appreciate it, man. I mean, it's probably one of the most disgusting male weaknesses that there is, when a man is afraid to ask a question.
True.
Like, to me, knowledge is power. So why would I not? We spent a lot of years learning the hard way and asking questions. I had an uncle, my uncle, before he passed away from cancer, he saved me a whole lot of pain by a lot of knowledge that he imparted. And my family's not gentle. Like, when my family's kind of more like, hey man, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why are you doing this, girl? Like, he's that's how my family is. So, I've learned to be a little more gentle with other folks, which some people who know me might say I'm not as gentle as I could be. But, it was knowledge that, even my wife says she appreciates the fact that he taught me these things. She appreciates the fact that he told me these things. And I was quick to go ask a question like, hey, this is happening. I have no idea what the fuck I should do here.
Yes.
So that's real good, man. I appreciate you.
But and it was the longer that we were together, the easier it was to communicate how we wanted time and what made both of us feel good. Because if you don't know, you don't know. And so maybe figuring that out too, like, what's the happy medium for you guys? Because we had to find that with ourselves.
Yes.
So.
I just feel like maybe I think that when the time slows down and she doesn't have so much events to do, because yes, she does a lot of events. She's flying everywhere. I see it. I know it's, I just try to be a little bit more lenient, because I know that's, but it just gets to a point where it's just like, yo, when are we gonna bond? Like, what's up with that? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, and for us, we were the same way. Like I said, Mr. Mocha used to travel 6 days out of 7, and talking to him was a joke, and not because he didn't want to talk to me. He couldn't, like, the type of job he had, he couldn't talk on the phone. We literally would talk maybe like right before he would go to bed, and I wouldn't talk to him the next day, because wherever he would end up at, he would have to leave at like 4 or 5 in the morning. So I understand that, and I was understanding to his job. But there were certain times when he would come home and I would have to say, we're not doing anything lifestyle. You have to just be here. I don't care if we sit around and get fucked up together and pass the fuck out. And I just need some time.
And then it was also vice versa, where, there were times where, when I came home, it's kind of like, what do you want to do? There'd be days that I just ran hard for 6 days, and I get home and, like, she wants to go out because she's a social person. So I get off a plane at 7 o'clock. I get home I mean, I woke up before that morning, I get home, and, she's been planning for the last 2 weeks for us to go out this evening. So that means that I got to cowboy up, get dressed, go out, and then, let her go and dance the night away. We get home at 4 a.m. I'm dog tired. But, that was a sacrifice that I had to make, and a lot of it will come down to, all of us making those sacrifices, just like my man Joe was saying earlier, because like I feel him, like I feel it. It's such a difficult thing in your mind when you feel like you're doing something for your family, and then your spouse comes and says
it's counteractive.
You're not doing what you need to do for us, and just because it's true doesn't mean anything. You still feel it a certain way because in your mind you're like, hey, this should happen, but her giving me that knowledge was important, and you giving your lady that information and knowledge, that's also important.
Yep.
Agreed.
So, I think today was a lot of times we get on, we joke and we talk about all of our crazy lifestyle experiences because we have a lot of them. But I think, there's certain things, there's big things that are super important. The connection that you have, understanding that, even the most successful couples in the lifestyle, the strongest couples in the lifestyle,
there's always the behind the scenes.
Yeah. And they didn't become strong for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
The best swords is forged in the fire.
What? The best what?
Swords.
Swords.
Gotta get real high.
That's a good one right there. I like that.
Honey, you're so intelligent.
I think I might get some ass tonight, y'all.
Yes,
I might get a little bit of booty tonight.
I'm not fucking anyone.
See, I say something smart. She got a little moist just now.
I'm dead.
Now I'm about to try too hard, mess it up.
No, I agree with everything you said. Even though I'm quiet, I'm less serious, so it's harder. But I agree with everything that you said tonight. Normally, I would have some rebuttals, but today I'll give it to you.
Thank you, baby.
You get one time.
Listen, just one day.
One time.
One time works.
But, I mean, like I said, you just got to figure out what works for you. Figure out what works for you. Figure out what works for your spouse. And you're not going to be able to ask 1 or 2 times in the midst of a work day and then be pissed off at them because they didn't give you, like, the answer you wanted that very second. Like, who fucking knows what what they are? They're gonna. It may take a few years to figure out exactly what the other person wants or likes, or even if you've been together for 10 years. Like I said, a lot of people mid-relationship get comfortable and they stop dating each other.
It's 10 years.
Because
that's way before then that happened.
They know that person, they know, oh, we've been married a long time or we've been together a long time. They're not going anywhere, which you likely aren't, but that doesn't mean that you won't stray or think about or lust after other people or something because you're looking for something that your spouse used to give you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how cheating happens.
Yeah. And listen, I'll be very honest. And, I told Mrs. Mocha in the beginning of our relationship, don't get comfortable.
No, I told you that.
And
I told you that the day of our wedding.
Let me. We were together before our wedding. She might have forgotten that. But then later on, she did tell me, no, you don't get comfortable. And that's something that, is true. Don't get comfortable. To me, it's important. To me, it's very important that my wife still, thinks I'm attractive. For her, it's still important that I still laugh at her stupid jokes. She is kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie. She makes me laugh all day.
You always laugh at my shit.
There's days that I try not to laugh at her shit because then she won't stop.
No, I don't.
If I laugh at it, then there's gonna be some more shit, and now she's distracting me. And the problem is, I like my wife, so like even at our house, like I want to work in the basement, but we like being in each other's space. I mean, it's only right downstairs, but we like being around each other, and a big part of that is not getting comfortable. And the times in our relationship where we start getting comfortable, that's when we start having issues.
I either put a fire under your ass or you put a fire under my ass.
Yeah. Like, don't stop dating me, and we're honest with each other. You know, like there's, you know,
Like the time I cried and said that you're never romantic and you don't ever buy me presents.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's how it's. But I never bought her presents, and all of a sudden she wants presents.
Petty.
Okay, well, I'll go buy you some stuff. Like, you know, but, you know, that's just how we are. You know, we do our best not to get comfortable. We do our best. I never assume that after all these years, my wife is going to take any bullshit I throw at her.
If it's actual bullshit, I don't.
Or even certain behaviors. There's certain behaviors. And once again, I'm a very direct human being. And anyone who knows me and has known me my whole life says my wife has made me soft because she was not built for the way I spoke to people. And I found that early on, I was a little too harsh for her liking. And she realized later on when she listened to me and my sisters talk, she's like, wow, this is really your family. You guys are animals. Like, we have no fucking filter when we talk to each other. So therefore, that's just how the people I love, we've always talked to each other. Like, just say what it is. Hey, your breath stinks. Go brush your teeth. Okay, no problem. You know, hey, you're getting fat. Oh, okay, let me go to the gym. Like, that's how we've always been. And then I realized that I can't be like that with her.
What made you realize that? Let's just have a talk. Okay, let's go to the story. And then we'll be done for tonight. But so Mr. Mocha.
Oh, you gonna do me like that, baby?
Yes,
Go ahead.
yes.
Okay.
So I was a little thicker. He said he tried to be in Mr. Mocha's own nice way. He tried to be nice about it, and he started with like we should go to the gym together, which is fine, whatever. We're over it because that really is like how he talks to like his friends and his family and stuff like that. But what he didn't realize is that I was going to be scarred for the next 6 months.
Oh my God.
But do you know how he ended up realizing that maybe the way he said it wasn't like the best way? And
she asked me a direct question.
No, I did not ask you. You told me that time. You said.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do we really want to go there on the podcast?
Listen, go ahead. Look,
okay.
Listen. We gotta give him the good, bad, and the ugly. All right,
okay.
let him have it.
He said something along the lines of like, "Yeah, baby, you're getting a little heavy." When I tell you that I felt like I was going to throw up for like 6 months every day because I was like, what the fuck? And he's not attracted. And the way he said it, I'm not even going to go into detail what else happened, okay? But so he went to one of his friend's house, male experience, and Sir Doyle. He went to their house to like hang out one day, and let's just say this. Okay, here's the thing. Mm-hmm.
I said something I thought was honest.
Yes.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
I was just being honest. Okay. At the time, I'm like, okay, I really like my wife, and I always want to be sexually attracted to you. So hey, you know, I feel like you might be one cheeseburger past the limit. I didn't know it was wrong to say that.
Don't say that.
Well, I mean, we're talking about how I fucked up. I'm being honest here.
Okay.
So I didn't say it in those words, but I said it in, you know, some more direct. You know, I was trying to be like very serious and professional. You know,
you're not professional with your fucking spouse.
I was trying.
You're trying to tiptoe on glass when you're talking about weight and women.
I was trying to be nice about the situation. So apparently I wasn't nice. So I'm like, I have to ask people sometimes, like people who I'm close to. I'll say, hey, I need to know, was I being a dick? And usually I call my sister first. So I told my sister the whole story, and my sister laughs at me for 5 minutes, and then she stops laughing and goes, you're an idiot. And I was like, oh, okay. So how was I wrong? So then for the next 20 minutes, she explained to me why I was an idiot and why I was wrong and why I was stupid. Okay, got you. All right, I'll deal with that. So I go down and hang out.
Then he goes and hangs out.
So I go hang out with a couple of the fellas. Mm-hmm. All right, like, okay, so I got one perspective. So I'm like, all right, guys, I need to know, was I a dick? So I tell them the whole story, and we're sitting outside in the garage. Let me paint the picture for you. Sitting outside in the garage. One of my boys is sitting on his motorcycle. The other one is leaning against the door frame smoking a cigarette. And when the cigarette fell out of his hand, I realized that I had it coming. So now they know me and they know her. So these two fuckers walked up one side of me and down the other. And so I came home and was like, honey,
No, you called me on the way home.
Oh, I called her. I was like
an hour drive.
I apologized. I mean, clearly I was being a dick. I didn't think I was being a dick. I thought I was just being honest. And I felt like, for me, like, I feel like this. If my wife goes, hey, honey, I want you to have a 6-pack, I'm going to have a 6-pack.
I would never
If she
say
says
that.
to me, hey, you know, your body's too hard, soften it up, I would do that. So for me, I just felt like, well, shit, if she wants my body to look a certain way, it's hers. So it's my job to make it look that way. Apparently, that doesn't work both ways. Yeah, so
no.
Yeah.
No, and then-
it is what it is.
And then
kinda think that, yeah.
the last part of that story is I ended up having surgery, and the doctor actually told him that it was impossible for me to lose weight, and he felt even worse.
Yeah, I felt pretty bad.
He apologized after my surgery. So, moral of the story is, I can deal with honesty, yes. I can deal with most things, but like at the time, that was just not it wasn't the move. But it's okay, we're past that.
So roughly translated, I learned to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I learned to do that too. I mean, there's nice ways that you can kind of possibly say it to your lady. That way you won't kind of rub her the wrong way. Kind of like say it like in a kind of like, not in a jokey type of way, but like in a cute way. Like, ooh, you looking kind of juicy. You looking juicy. You looking hunky. Yeah, baby.
No.
And that'll kind of like let her know, to get her the inclination that she's gained a little, but it wasn't in like a malicious term. You get it? Like, it kind of, it's like you're still trying to flatter her. Like, ooh, you looking kind of juicy, baby.
I wouldn't have taken it like that. I would have been like, damn, he wants some of this shit.
Yes, he's like,
That would have been counteractive.
I'm not good at lying about shit. It's like, I'm just going to say what it is. So, you know, after I found out that it was actually a medical condition, you know, and it wasn't just because of, you know, because I just felt like you don't give a fuck how I feel, you know. And once again, like I said, I thought honesty was the best policy in that situation. And I realized it wasn't, you know. So and that was 6 months of hell. Like, she was mad for like 6 months. Like, and the thing is, like, she don't yell, we don't argue, you know. It's like she was just, you know, I just said you're getting a little thick. That doesn't mean I don't want to see you naked. So then she wouldn't walk around the house naked. So now I can't get all the visual treats that I'm used to. You know, she just...
You just told me that I was fat and you wanted me to walk around naked.
I didn't say I didn't enjoy it.
You start to reevaluate yourself.
Oh, no.
So you know, like, I need to watch my mouth.
He said, I don't know if I'll be physically attracted to you if you keep gaining weight. So in what world would I want to take my clothes off?
I didn't say I wasn't physically
Daddy?
attracted. I said if at some point...
Daddy.
Listen, I fucked up.
Mr. Mocha.
I know I messed this thing up.
He did. Okay, we don't have to finish.
I know I was wrong.
He was, and we moved past it.
And my sister laughed at me for like a good year.
And his friends literally still laid into him for like 3 weeks about it.
Yeah.
Every time they saw him, they were like, "Are you fucking dumb, dude? Like, you have the best wife in the world, and you just
Hey, quit
crushed
patting
her."
yourself on the back. You're
That's
okay.
what he said.
You're decent. Okay, you're decent. On a
on,
scale of 1 to 10, you're like a good, 5.5.
Hold on, we've gotten some comments.
Patting herself on the back over here.
I'm not patting myself on the back. Oh, Zulu Warrior says, damn.
That's why I didn't tell him, because he'd have gave it to me worse. So I was like, all right.
God. Karina says hashtag Team Ginger. It's okay. There's no more teams. That is all in the past. I appreciate everyone's.
I've learned.
Yes,
I've
I
learned from my
appreciate
mistakes.
everyone's sponsorship.
Your support.
on that.
Thank you.
But it's okay. I promise I'm okay, and we're now in a better place about things like that. And he is a lot more gentler when he says those type of things, like, because he knows it's really hard to offend me when it comes to certain things.
I found the soft spot and I stay away from it.
Honestly, sometimes it takes the right woman to kind of soothe us down, because we do come off kind of, strong. So that's a good thing. We need that in our lives. We do. We really do.
Yep. Hold on, we got a few more comments, and then we probably should wrap it up. Let's see. How many people bash Mr. Mocha today?
Hey, listen, my sister called me. She was like, "Hey, stupid." Like, I know. I get it. I messed up.
Someone said send a picture. I'm good now. I've lost 30 pounds since last year. And it wasn't because of him. It was literally because I needed a surgery. He didn't know.
Let's make this clear. She didn't have like a surgery to lose weight.
No, I didn't have a weight loss surgery. Okay, we'll just go further.
She had a hysterectomy.
I had a hysterectomy.
And she had, you know, all of these lady problems that was going on.
They were saying that my estradiol levels were through the roof, and then I had nothing else in my body, and then it was impossible for me to lose weight with the amount of things that I had happening.
So basically, her body was designed for super cold climates because it kept, you know, adding on to her to keep her warm.
What in the literal fuck? No more talking.
I didn't know it was a
You're
medical
going to get lots of thumbs downs. Karina has at least given you 16.
Listen, I respect that. I'm the kind of person that when I fuck up, listen, if I mess up, you go ahead and let me have it, because if I deserve it, I will take what I got coming to me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm okay with that. And it was a good learning lesson. So, like, when I talk to somebody else, I'm like, hey, dude, don't do this thing.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, all right.
Same way I try to give good, valuable information to new talent that's coming in the industry. I try to let them know, listen, I face certain things, so do not do this. Don't talk like this around people, and carry yourself like this, and you'll survive.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Well, if no one has any more questions for us tonight, we appreciate all the comments. And again, don't anyone get off the episode and bash Mr. Mocha.
No, go ahead. Listen, I got it coming. I'm okay with that.
No, that was so long ago, and we're like so over it.
That was like 3 weeks ago.
Oh my God.
I'm joking. It wasn't. I'm joking.
It was.
Happened yesterday.
And again, we're all learning experiences. He learned, I learned, and I'm sure there's. I'll just throw myself under the bus here since we threw him under the bus. So, some of you know that I do have a drinking problem sometimes. I'm remedying that.
Only at parties.
Yeah. So I had a birthday party 2 or 3 years ago?
It was longer than that.
4 years ago, 5 years ago. I don't remember. Anyways, I had a birthday party.
Oh my God.
And apparently I got super drunk, and I don't remember. All I remember is waking up the next day and Mr. Mocha being fucking pissed. And I had no fucking idea why he was so fucking pissed at me. Like, Mr. Mocha, we can count on, hands how many times we've been upset enough to not speak to each other. He was, saying... We still do pleasantries, and that's it. If really upset.
I couldn't even look at her.
Yeah. So apparently, it was my birthday, and he had sex with someone that I wanted to
No, let's get this straight. There was someone. She told me, "Hey."
I was drunk though. Okay.
She told me, "I want to play with this couple." Mm-hmm. She told me to get the couple. I got the couple. She didn't come downstairs. I came back upstairs. I'm like, "Look. Are we playing or not?" She was like, "No, you go ahead and play and I'll be down." So usually when she says something like that, she actually means it. So I go downstairs, have a great time. So she comes down as we're finishing up, and I walk out, and as I'm walking out of the room, she turns around and goes back upstairs. So, usually my wife high-fives me for putting on a good performance. There was a whole bunch of people at the door. I think people were cheering. They were throwing confetti. I put some good work in. I felt good about me. I thought my wife was coming down to feel good about me. So I go upstairs, and mind you, there's 120 people in the house. So I can see it on her face. So I start walking toward the bedroom, and she follows me. And she starts in as we're walking to the bedroom, and I close the door. She went off. She's never went off. She lost her shit. And at first she didn't actually tell me why she was mad. So I was thinking at first someone else had done something. So for me, I'm always happy when she's mad at another person, because then I can go and be the hero and tell that person how we feel about them.
Captain Save-A-Ho.
Exactly. So mind you, she's drunk as fuck, and I'm only kind of catching every other word at first. And then I realize she's mad at me. So now I'm trying to figure out, why are you mad at me? And then she tells me that she's mad at me for having sex, and it's her birthday, and she wanted to be there when we played with the couple, and I didn't tell her I was going to play with them, and I should have came and got her, which is literally everything that I did. And anyone who's ever been to a party with her know that she's fucking party ADD, okay? She'll be dead in the middle of a conversation with you. Somebody walks by, says, "Oh my God, Kenzie," and she's gone. So,
Facts.
So this is what happened, and at first I was confused. So like I was quiet at first, and I'm like, hey, calm down. So apparently, telling my drunk wife to calm down is a bad move. But she keeps going, and I'm like, hey, you're drunk? Calm down.
You told me the next day that you said to
Oh,
me,
I'm getting to that part.
yeah, that I would regret this tomorrow.
I said, when you sober up tomorrow, I'm going to remember this. So I'm going to give you one more chance to calm down. I don't give a fuck. Okay. All right. All right. We're doing this. Okay. So I let her finish her tirade because I'm not going to argue if it's not going to work. So I let her, she went off. She finished her tirade. And then, I'm pretty sure there was some tears in there somewhere. So she cleans herself up, wipes her face, gets the tears off. And now I'm done partying. Okay. So I'm just going out to be a good host, and I'm trying not to have the look on my face. And she goes out. She continues partying, drinking, dancing, fucking all this stuff. So in the morning she wakes up, day after her birthday, and she's fucking Mary Poppins.
Because I didn't know anything.
She's the happiest person I know. And I'm still pissed. Like I'm beyond pissed because I don't do yelling. I don't like for someone to yell at me. That's not what I do. So I don't yell at you, don't yell at me. But she was in there. Thank God the music was loud. I mean, thank God for DJ, because she was going off. And so the next day I'm like, I've got nothing to say to you. Like, I didn't say anything to her first. I didn't tell her I was mad. I just didn't say anything.
And then I knew I had fucked up a run.
Because when I'm too mad to speak, I just can't speak, because anything that I say is going to be too bad. So it's like, I just don't speak.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think
that was like a 3 or 4 day.
Yeah, it was a few days.
Yeah,
it took me a few days.
Yeah, and I thought he was actually going to leave me that
It took
time
me a few days to speak
because
to her.
I didn't know the extent, because he was telling me like bits and pieces like as the days went on, because he was like, there's no fucking way you don't remember. I didn't remember anything.
I still think she remembers. I think she woke up, was like, fuck. Let me pretend like I don't remember this.
I'm dead. Yeah, no, I didn't do that.
Nah, she knocked off about a whole handle of Tito's by herself.
No, it's Fireball. They got me those 2 buckets of Fireball, the birthday party buckets. Yeah, and I drank 2 of them.
The handles of Tito's was the other parties.
Yeah. Don't get it twisted, okay?
Oh, excuse me.
There's a difference in liquor.
It's calming down here.
Yeah, and we did decide like not long after that whiskey makes me a little mean. Because remember, there was like a few other incidents where I got a little grumpy, so we were like, okay.
But I mean, here's the thing. And those other incidents, she wasn't grumpy with me. Therefore, I didn't care. But
I was making faces at people, and you were upset at me because I was making faces, is what you said.
Yeah.
So that's the same.
Yeah, she has a hard time.
Sometimes he has to tell me, he'll come up to me and he'll say, baby, I'm about to be upset. But it just depends on what level drunk I am, that if I care or not. Most of the time I'm too far gone. Now he just walks away. He's just like, whatever, she'll be fine.
Yeah.
But I've done better. Okay, you're right, I haven't. I've only done better since October 15th.
Like I said, you've done better since the last party.
It was Karina and Kenzie's fault, because first of all, Karina was like, we'll be good. Well, we fucking weren't. Okay?
Well,
yes,
you gotta blame
weren't.
Damian Fox too for the new tradition of vodka snowballs.
Yeah, thank you, Kenzie.
Well, when Kenzie gets drunk, she's funny. Like she's
always funny though.
No, she's really funny. Like, and she's like extra fun. Like, I'm like, oh, okay.
I know. And
she's not an angry drunk, honey.
I'm not an angry drunk.
You were that day.
One day. That was
That's
5
relevant.
years ago.
Nope, I'm holding that against you for life.
That's fine. I'll never drink Fireball again, so we're probably good to go.
Until the next person offers you some Fireball.
No, because every time I drink that now, it's made me feel like really sick.
All right, so everybody who parties with us, I want you to make sure that you offer her some Fireball.
I'm gonna
and
say
see
no.
if she takes it.
Nope.
All right, and don't lie and say she didn't take it because I know.
No, because Kenzie tried to give me Fireball one time when she was here, or when I was there, and I didn't drink it because it gives me heartburn and a headache.
Yes. I love Fireball, but I need it with some ice.
I can't drink it anymore. It just makes me.
I can only take like one drink of the Fireball because I used to drink it a lot. And it's the cinnamon whiskey. It just gets you after a while.
It's like drinking juice. You don't know when it hits you, and then you're like, "Oh shit, I was really fucked up."
Sweet.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, I know when it hits me.
No, you don't.
You don't know when any liquor hits you, honey.
I know because I go from fine to not.
Yeah.
Within 3 or 4 shots.
No. More like.
No, I'm saying that's the time period of when I start forgetting. It's the 3 or 4. I'm not saying I began at 3 or 4 in. I'm saying I'm probably at 10, but when I do the 3 or 4 back to back, that's when I'm really fat.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Oh, God.
Kenzie's about to try to defend herself.
What happened, Kenzie?
I'm not defending myself. I'm just saying, do not ever give Damian Fox Fireball.
We're in a room, we got talking shit about it. Come on.
We're talking about Fireball.
Listen, we're going to edit that message that you guys left, and then we're going to play that on the next podcast.
That was literally the best message. So
we gotta save that. We gotta save it.
I'm just saying the first part, okay? So I get a voicemail from Kenzie and Damien. They're in Hito, and they may or may not have been a little fucked up. And the first thing I hear is Kenzie say, "This is my hoe." I almost died. I had to listen to that part at least 5 times. This is my hoe, guys.
Which you are, that's a term of endearment.
Oh, I was excited that you said it. I was like, yes, Kenzie.
So, as usual, my wife is always trying to make me watch something funny. So she brings me the voicemail. And as soon as I heard it, I was crying laughing.
Yep. And then the best part was they didn't remember sending the voicemail.
And Damien was saying some kind of incoherent shit in the background. I don't know what language he was speaking, but he was obviously having a great time.
I was looking for condoms.
Oh, God.
Yeah, we're definitely going to play that message next time.
We should. I have my hoe phone down here. We can do it now.
No. We got to save that because we're that.
Oh, no, because they say my name and somebody else.
I got to edit it first. I got to edit it.
Yeah.
Does it ever get to the point where you guys have such a good time together and y'all laugh so much to the point where y'all got to go sit down because y'all about to get a headache?
We do that often.
All the time.
Honestly, when we started the podcast, that ended up kind of being our quality time because it was the time that we could talk about all of our fuckery and we could laugh. And the first 4 or 5 podcasts that we did ever, we were obliterated drunk because I was so scared to hear myself on the podcast. I'd be like, we couldn't even make it through the first 5 words.
Oh, my goodness.
We could not make it through the intro because it was just so weird to me to talk and hear myself talk.
That's how I felt when I first saw myself on camera. I had a little stigma, and then as time went by, I kind of got used to seeing myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel the same way now. I still am not good at making Snapchat videos and stuff like that, and I'm terrible at talking, but I'm fine with the podcast and I'm fine with doing content. It has to be organic for content for me. It can't be. I have a really hard time doing scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like a robot, but I'm getting better. I think Kenzie can attest to that.
Same here. We're all getting better.
Me, it's I always get entertained. If I see myself somewhere and I wasn't expecting to see myself, it's hey, that's my dick. Oh.
I'm so dead. It's your penis. Your
That's
penis
funny.
was on the internet before it was actually on the internet. So,
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true. Hell, it was on there before I knew it was on there. My brother told me.
Yeah.
Like, hey, man, this is you.
That's funny you say that. I was in my neighborhood one time going to get something to eat, and then one of my boys was down the block, and he said, "Hey, yo." I walked towards him, and he said, "I've been meaning to see you." I said, "What's going on, bro?" He said, "Yo, bro, you do movies?" I said, "I do a couple flicks here and there. I don't really do nothing like that. Just a little something." He said, "Dude, you do movies?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Bro, I was home with my girl one night, and she put a movie on, bruh. And I'm about to get it in with my wife, and I look at the TV screen, and I see your face." He said, "Yo, bro, you doing it like that?" I said, "Hey, I'm just cruising. I'm cruising." He said, "Bro, you putting on for the city. That's what's up." That was the first time I ever had like a fan type of experience like that. Somebody actually told me they seen my movie before. That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah, that's
Crazy.
listen, that had to be exciting. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, because it still entertains me if somebody ran and like, hey, I saw a video of you.
He was with his wife too. I was a little nervous because I didn't know if he felt the way. So, I was very modest about it. I'm like, I don't.
Hey, listen, as long as you didn't hand it to her personally, like, hey, go look at my dick. As long as you didn't do that, he can't feel some kind of way.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but he was very positive. He hugged me. He dapped me up for it. I was very happy.
I'm dead as fuck.
Hey, listen.
Good job, buddy.
There you go.
That was like a good job, buddy. You're on the internet.
You doing good out here slinging dick.
And then,
Hey, listen, that's a beautiful thing. Now, look, guys, we appreciate you jumping in with us, man. We had a good time with you all.
yeah, and thank you, Joe, for all the comments. And we hope that, I know we got a little sidetracked at the end, but we hope all the things we said were informative and you can get it. And,
Did you say you can get it?
no, I didn't say you can get it. What did I say? Did I say you can get it?
My wife is dirty.
No, like you can get it together with your wife is what I meant. Not like you can get my pussy, man.
That's probably what she was saying.
I wasn't saying that.
She's a little perverted.
I was trying to be serious.
Oh, okay.
I was trying to be serious.
I wasn't sure. Sometimes.
Thanks, Kenzie, for jumping on, and thanks. What's your name, Lord?
Yes. How do we? Okay, so
We're just gonna call him
Godfather.
Godfather.
Scorpio God.
Okay, I'm like, man, like
Okay. You got too many names.
That's just too long for me to pronounce. Like, all right, I got Scorpio. That word, Scorpio God. We can do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for jumping on, and thanks to everybody else for being on. Ooh, Anita, hey girl. And Kenzie, thanks for jumping on. Karina. Zulu, thanks for jumping on. I saw somebody else. Blushing Vixen. Scarlett, hey girl. I just saw her.
I can't see that good. So
Well, you're scrolling really fast.
Where you work the buttons.
Okay.
I'm not responsible for touching stuff. I got big hands.
Oh my God. I can't.
But in any case, as always, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We really, really enjoyed. We enjoy doing this. We enjoyed having you guys on. We always appreciate when you guys jump in and share with us, ask us questions, share experiences, laugh with us, verbally berate me for my stupidity.
It's okay. We're done. It's done.
So,
Goodbye from the Mocha.
fuck is that guy?